How's it going, guys? It's Kass. As always, if you've been enjoying my content, then hit that subscribe button. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the new patch 9.1. We're going to talk about how Demon Hunter feels and just generally my thoughts about this patch so far. Obviously, it's still the first week when I'm recording this, so there's not that many new changes. We got access to Korthia, we've got to see the new Torghast stuff, and we've got to test out a little bit, but there's still a ways to go with the actual content of this patch. So this is just like a first impression of 9.1 as a whole, and just generally how Demon Hunter feels. It's important to realize that whenever I talk about feeling specifically of Demon Hunter, I'm not talking necessarily about performance. I'm talking about just overall anecdotal performance of the class in my current situation. This is not me saying the class is very strong in a raid environment. It's just me saying the class feels very good to play. Hopefully we can see the difference there. I kind of forgot how good Demon Hunter feels in open world content, just with how little content we've had recently with 9.0.5 and with how long 9.0 has been out for. A lot of the content has grown stale, and I don't really do that much open world content to begin with, so anything that I'm not forced to do, I haven't been doing for a while now. It kind of sucks because honestly, Demon Hunter feels incredibly good in these open world environments. You really don't need anyone else. You can go kill rares by yourself. You can go and do AoE farming. It's very, very good. The class as a whole is just a very good class to play in this specific playstyle for soloing content. And that's really what I've been enjoying the most about 9.1 so far, is Korthia as a whole. I think the world quests are pretty okay. None of them are annoying, which is exactly what you want with world quests. They're just a task that's nice and easy, that gives you rep, that gives you potential gear upgrades and things like that, and pushes you forward. It's not something that you hate doing right away. It's something that you might hate over time, but realistically over time you probably won't have to do them today. Overall, I think they're designed pretty well, and like I said, there isn't really one that sticks out of mind that is kind of sucky compared to the other ones. The rares and how many rares there are feels pretty good too. I kind of am starting to think that maybe Blizzards should consider doing something similar to the Shadowlands pre-patch events, where they have rares on timers instead of the current implementation. Obviously, having rares on timer doesn't really make them rares in the sense of rares. These rares, a lot of them respawn so fast that having them on and off a timer doesn't really change the actual spawn rate of these rares. What that would do is it would just generally help people prioritize their time better and not have to server hop in order to get access to these rares. Then we have to also talk about the idea of server hopping as well right now. Server hopping is insane in Korthia. You can basically join 40-man groups of farming rares, and you can use these parties to basically do whatever you want with them. You can go and farm the same chest over and over again as long as you're hopping realms. You can get access to almost any rare via the LFG system also. It's a very good tool, and you should be using it if you're trying to maximize how much you get out of Korthia. Next, we're going to talk about the new Torghast changes, and these are extremely positive changes for Torghast, and they've made Torghast feel significantly better than in 9.0. Does this mean that I'm going to be farming Torghast whenever I no longer need to? Definitely not, but it definitely makes it so whenever you're playing Torghast, whenever you have to play Torghast, it makes that experience better. They took out a layer from every single Torghast run, so now you only have to do 5 layers instead of 6, which in itself feels just significantly better. You don't have 2 floors of random ads that you have to clear before you get to the boss. After layer 3, you just go straight to the boss after layer 4, which progression wise makes sense and just feels much better. Then on top of that, you have the new ranking system, which feels pretty good too. It gives you a slight dopamine hit, and it kind of pushes you in a direction where you want to try and do your best in Torghast versus just being something that you have to get done as soon as possible. I think that's a very good change, and it's made Torghast much, much more enjoyable than it was in 9.0. Next thing that we're going to talk about is PvP, and that's something that I've been spending a lot of time recently in arena skirmishes And obviously with arena skirmishes, you get matched up with literally anyone. So you can be matched up with a hunter in store-bought transmog that has no gear, or you can be in a game with a multi-rank 1 gladiator. There's a very big variation in how the matchups will go, but overall Demon Hunter has felt pretty good. I think it definitely feels much better than it did in 9.0 already, and that's without any of the gear buffs. Right now I've been playing the Auto Darkness legendary just because I think it's going to be the best option for the early part of the season. And then as we get later on in the season and get access to more versatility and higher stamina levels, potentially we could see us moving away from that as a defensive option. I've also been testing basically every single PvP talent right now, and honestly there hasn't really been one that doesn't feel that great. My only issue right now with the PvP talents so far is because of the power level of Mortal Dance, the new talent that makes it so Blade Dance applies a healing reduction. It kind of forces you to just play a Blade Dance center build no matter what. I was really hoping that this wouldn't be the case, but I'm leaning towards this just being the case. I'm not 100% sure if it stacks with other Mortal Wounds abilities, like if it would stack with Mortal Strike or anything like that. So if you do know that, feel free to leave a comment. But if it does stack with something like that, it's obviously going to be very strong. Then we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the Cover of Darkness change. Obviously that change has impacted the class a lot, but I have been testing it in PvP in 2v2 specifically, and it actually feels pretty good. The extra radius is pretty nice. It allows you to not really have to worry about getting feared out of darkness or anything like that. It allows you to kind of just play the class normally, even though your darkness legendary procced. It also gives you access to 2 seconds longer in darkness, which is nice as well. And if you think about it this way, if you have 2 seconds longer of 50% chance to evade versus 8 seconds in 70% chance to evade, the actual difference in evade chance over that same period is not that crazy, given the fact that we have 2 extra seconds of duration. Now there will be some situations where 70% chance to evade could potentially save your life, where 50% chance to evade won't save your life. However, those situations probably won't happen very often. So overall, this change is just pretty positive for Demon Hunter. I think as a whole, Demon Hunter feels pretty good for any content right now. PvP, it's pretty strong. PvE, it's pretty strong as well. And I think as the expansion goes on, we will continue to get stronger as a class also. With that in mind, I want to talk about my next video. My next video will be going through the PvP talents, since I've had some more time to test them all individually in PvP environments. Also, I wanted to point out here at the end that Blood Moon is still bugged. It does not give you the leech that it's supposed to, or if it is giving you the leech that it's supposed to, there's no way to see that it's actually working as intended. So please, if it is working as intended, put the leech on the character screen, and if it's not working as intended, please fix that. As always, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, F5 refresh, try it again, maybe you like it the second time. Have a good one.